You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
Good morning, family on Facebook. Please take a minute and like, in particular, share today's show. Good morning, everybody. Share today's show. Hope you're doing well. I've had a fabulous weekend. I hope your weekend was great. Among other things, I want to kick off the show today talking about Ice Cube's Black Agenda. It's called A Contract with America. If you've already heard about it, then it'll be a further analysis. And if you haven't heard about it, well, then we give you breaking news. That's right. Ice Cube. That's right. NWA. America's Most Wanted, you already know. And it seems like his revolutionary mindset is now geared toward policy. I want to break it down. I've got clips for you this morning. I want to talk about it. Among other things, there's a lot of things going on, but for the first half hour, at least 30 minutes, I want to focus on that. And also give you a brief history of Black agendas in this country, which you may or may not be aware of. I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. This is the Nathan Ivey Show. Please like and in particular share today's show, and we'll get started in less than 1 minute. Good morning, family. Hope you've been doing well over the weekend. Hope you stay COVID-19 free. I'm Nathan Ivey. Welcome back to the Nathan Ivey Show. The Nathan Ivey Show is a wonderful place where nothing is funnier than the truth. Men are allowed, scratch that, men are expected to be men. And of course, lames get their planes shot down like John McCain. The wise words of Jay Electronica. Hey, good morning to you, everybody. 513-873-7134 is my number. If you like to give me a call this morning, I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything that's going on. Hey, good morning to you. Hey, welcome to my home studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is me. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. That's right. I still haven't cut the beard. I think I'll get a cut today. Take care of all of this. I'm looking scraggly, but this is how a man is supposed to look. A grown man is supposed to have hair on your face. If you're a grown black man with no hair on your face, you suspect out here, B. I'm just going ahead and put it out there. You suspecting them? Okay, yeah. What's wrong with you? And you got the ability to grow it? What's wrong with you? Get you some hair on your face like a real man is supposed to have. All these clean face, baby smooth face men walking around here. Your testosterone levels are too short. They're too low, B. They're too low. I mean that too. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. You see, Ice Cube got hair on his face. Look at that. That's a grown man right there. This morning, I want to talk about Ice Cube's contract with Black America. And he's been making the rounds. I've got some clips for you from Roland Martin. Shout out to Roland Martin, who's a pioneer in these black digital media spaces. But I want to talk about Ice Cube's contract with America. I want to give you a brief history lesson on the history of black agendas in this particular country, which you may or may not know about, and offer a smattering of superlative flows on people, politics, and pleasure along the way. I'm gonna tell you, there's a certifiable Karen-demic going on. You take the word Karen and pandemic, put together, you get Karen-demic. Have you seen the latest? If not, I've got it for you. And also, I'll say it again, I am not for high-speed chases. There was a very unfortunate, tragic set of circumstances that led to 2 bystanders being killed. And the police in these high-speed chases, it just seems like most of the time, that's just my perception, it just goes wrong. Is it really that serious? Is it really that serious? We'll talk about this morning. 513-873-7134 if you like to share your thoughts this morning. You know, I love to hear them. Let me go straight into the chop shop. I'm on Spreaker. Speaking of which, let me just give you the different ways that you can check out the show. And also an appeal for your help as well. I need your help this morning. I've decided to go hard on YouTube with this show. I was just been looking at YouTube more and more, and it's all kinds of folks. Some folks doing great work, and some folks doing, the work of the enemy and some nonsense. And I'm like, you know what? The flows needs to be worldwide. So I'm spending more energy and devoting more time on my YouTube channel. You can find me there right now. And in the process of developing several YouTube channels, actually. But one milestone that I need to hit in order to monetize my channel is I need to hit at least 1,000 subscribers. And I'm thinking, well, damn, with the choppers, we should be able to do that relatively quickly. So if you are on YouTube, I'd like you to go to YouTube, search Nathan Ivey, and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. It's so important. That way you get a notification whenever I go live, whether it's a video or a live stream, you'll get a notification. But I've got to hit a couple of milestones so I can put some merch up. And it is the way YouTube works is that it unlocks different capabilities for creative folks such as myself. So do your boy a favor. If you're already on YouTube, go to YouTube this morning. You can find a link in the description. And if not, go to YouTube, NathanIvey.com. And Nathan Ivey on YouTube, and subscribe to that YouTube page and help me reach that first milestone. I think right now I'm like 100 and something, almost like 180 subscribers. I need to get that to 1,000 to unlock some of the milestones that YouTube set up. So you can watch the show on YouTube. You can watch the show on Facebook Live. You can listen to the show on Spreaker, and you can listen to the show on iTunes as well, and also on Spotify. Those are the ways that you can check out the Nathan Ivey Show, depending on what you're into and what your lifestyle is like in the morning. Good morning to you. Thank you in advance. I appreciate it. And Miss D writes greetings. Good morning to you, Miss D. How are you this morning? Good to see you. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you. Tanika writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Y'all don't deserve me, a.k.a. Fame writes, good morning, Choppers. If you ashy and you know it, clap your hands, he writes. Thank you for that reminder. Jared writes, good morning, hashtag team and I. What's up, brother Jared? Good morning to you. Brenda writes, happy Monday. It is a happy Monday. My weekend was great. I thought the Donnie B show was very, very strong. She is hilarious. On Friday, the Is It Just Me podcast is up on Sin Digital's page. It's also on her personal group as well, the Is It Just Me podcast group. I thought it was very, very interesting. Hopefully you check that out. If not, you can circle back and check out the live stream. The video's up right now. And then, of course, the re-debut of the Dope Chicks Collective just yesterday. That podcast will be on Sunday at approximately 1 p.m. It's a collective of dope black women doing dope-ish. Check it out. Getting deep, getting introspective. It was very interesting. I thought it was a very good, strong start, a restart to that podcast. Again, you can find it on Sin Digital Media as well on Facebook. Brenda writes, happy Monday. Mrs. Love Being Black writes, good morning, fellow beautiful smart choppers. Good morning to you. CJ writes, good morning, all. Good morning to you, CJ. Charles writes, grand risings, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Charles. I'm sorry. That was Clue Magic who said that. Good morning to you, Charles. He writes, good morning, all. Brian writes, good morning. Tony writes, good morning. Ray is in the house. She writes, grand risings, all. Pat writes, good morning. Hey, Pat, thank you for posting that photograph with the Nathan Ivey merch, the Nate Tire, as I'm calling it. I appreciate it. More to come. Tracy writes, hi. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. New week, fresh thoughts. 60 plus homicides in the city so far this year. It is a problem, but I don't think it's because of super predators. I think it's because of the accumulation of issues that have been unaddressed. And then COVID-19, I was listening to the Dope Chicks, and this whole thing about depression, maybe it's a female thing. Are women more affected by the shut-in than men? Or do men just deal with it differently? As I was listening to them Monday, I thought it was a very interesting conversation to hear those kind of honest thoughts from Black women. I'm thinking, oh, word, this is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Because, staying at home, this is my home. Everything you see back there, I put there. I like everything you see. I like everything in this room. If I didn't like it, I'd change it. I got full control. I can paint the walls. I can do whatever I want to do. I like that, right? I like being home. So maybe I'm a little bit different. Maybe it's a male thing, female thing. I don't know. Kush writes, good morning, Nate and the Mighty Choppers. Good morning to you. Hold up. I owe you a whole bunch of get to the choppers. Here we go. I ain't gonna forget you.
Get to the chopper!
And for everybody else.
Get to the chopper!
And one more time for the people in the back.
Get to the chopper!
Yes, most definitely. Men are supposed to be men on this show until they threaten your genitals. He's still talking about that. Huh? That's going way back to Friday. That's the first thing on your mind on a Monday morning, Fame? It's interesting. Pamela writes, that high-speed chase was awful. I unfortunately saw the body laying in the street with a tarp over it. What? Damn, Pamela. That's not something that's easy to unsee. Damn, shout out and condolences to the families involved, man. Yeah, there was a high-speed chase. We'll get to it probably later this hour or second hour, but I want to kick it off talking about Ice Cube. All right, I want to talk about Ice Cube. I see Nathan Ellis is in the room. He writes, good morning to the world. Hashtag get bevy. Hashtag build black wealth. Well, one thing that I've learned about the people that listen to this show, and I don't say this to try to, I say this because I mean it. A lot of really forward-thinking, highly intelligent individuals. I don't know about anybody else's audience, but I know that people listen to this show on a regular basis. Let's just say very smart, intelligent people. That's what we'll put it that way. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of forward-thinking individuals. Got a lot of respect for the Choppers. Kelly writes, good morning. CG Dub writes, good morning, Choppers. Pardon me, got a little something in my eye. Mason Marler writes, morning, Nate. Give me 1 second here. Okay, now we good. Mason Marler writes, morning, Nate and the Choppers. Hashtag Pharrell bubble coat, toxic masculinity, wolf puppy with a Ralph Tresvant attitude. Wait a minute, that's a mouthful. Pharrell bubble coat, toxic masculinity, wolf puppy with a Ralph Tresvant attitude. Hashtag flows rated E for everybody. Hashtag a hit dog will holla. Hashtag clout chasing is a pre-existing condition. Hashtag free mail and bailouts. Hashtag free Joy Reid. Hashtag free Chris Matthews. I love it all except for free Chris Matthews. F Chris Matthews, Mason Mahler. I'm glad he's gone. Because if Chris Matthews was still there, we wouldn't have made history with Joy Reid. First black female to anchor her first daily television show on MSNBC or network television news. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Tracy writes, it is not a female thing. Russ Parr said he is depressed just this morning on the air. What in the hell is Russ Parr depressed about? I don't get it. Listen, I in no way am I trying to trample over your emotional feelings, but I don't understand it. We got to be stronger than this. You got to sit in the house for 4 or 5 months, everybody depressed. Damn, we weak ass Americans. What's wrong with you? And as like I said, people that say, oh, the stuff that's happening in the community, the stuff that I see in the community makes me happy. Man, like I said, I love to see the protests in the streets. That encourages me. I get depressed when we get these motherfuckers that don't want to do nothing, sitting back, letting the status quo, white supremacy just run over you. That makes me depressed. But seeing all this energy, people hitting the streets, people going down to City Hall, people shouting down politicians, people incorporating black agendas, people letting them know what time it is, that makes me happy. I'm encouraged. I get discouraged when nobody's doing anything. You know what I'm saying? When I see these young rebels, these young iconoclasts, these world changers out here, that makes me happy. That encourages me. I just don't get it. I would choose to be black every damn time. If I had to come back to this life a million times, I want to be black every single time. I ain't discouraged. Not one bit. I love it. You see all this melanin? I love every bit of it. Wouldn't change it. I don't give a damn about what the white man or white supremacy been. We got to work to change. That's why I love what Ice Cube is doing. We'll get to in a second. What I see Ice Cube is doing encourages me. I love it. I don't understand this depression thing, y'all. Y'all need to snap up out of it. Get on Xbox or something. This ain't stopped me from doing nothing. I mean, you know, not being face to face, you got to make some adjustments. I mean, I've been able to cut some overhead, save myself some money as an entrepreneur, just running things from the house. I don't see what the problem is. There's nobody in the world who I want to interact with that I can't interact with. It's called a phone. It's real simple. I don't want to go buy a bunch of trash anyway. Y'all saving me money. I changed my relationship with food, so I'm not into fast food, so I don't want to go to your janky ass restaurant because I can cook better food at home, right? There's nothing I can't get sent to the house via Amazon or some other, service. And all the people I love the most is right in this house. What is there to be depressed about? I don't understand. Snap out of it. Snap out of it. Maybe when we talk about Ice Cube and his contract with America, that would encourage people. I'm encouraged by what I see, not discouraged. These white supremacists ain't getting me down. These Karens ain't getting me down at all. Karen's gonna do what Karen's gonna do. Don't let them win, family. Stay up. Stay up. Get your walk in. Get that body together. Come out of COVID-19 with the COVID minus 19. You know what I'm saying? Lose 19 pounds. Muscle up. Start that business. You in the house. I don't get it. I didn't hear Russ Parr this morning. I mean, listen, I don't disrespect anybody's emotional plight, but I don't get it. And men run around here talking about, I'm depressed. You what? Be a man. Man, this is not time for a man to be depressed. I'm not depressed about a damn thing. My family's relatively safe. My mama's cool. My children cool. All the people I'm rocking with professionally cool. I mean, what's to be depressed about? I don't get it. Please, somebody explain this to me. Please don't tell me no men out here on the radio talking about they depressed. Oh, man. Cue up the Rouse Tresvant. So you never should have told me that, Tracy. Cue up the Rouse Tresvant. All these sensitive men out here. I can't tolerate it. Be a man. Go out there and do some push-ups. You'll be cool after that. Talking about you depressed. Oh, my gosh. Y'all on your own, man. Like I told you years ago, I only got one testicle left, man. I put one on eBay. That just goes to show you how long ago it was. I don't got no more to spare you. Somebody else going to have to take one for the team. I'm depressed. I don't get it. Now, if your business has been personally affected, like you out of business, I can understand that. If you're an entrepreneur, maybe you was a restaurateur or something like that, and your business has now been affected. Okay, I can understand that. And there might be some other scenarios in which I can understand it, but off the top of the dome, I don't get it. What is there to, I'm not depressed about George Floyd. I'm mad as a motherfucker about it. It's two different things, two different emotions. I'm not depressed about what happened to Breonna Taylor. And speaking of which, have you heard what Oprah's doing in Louisville? Speaking of Louisville, the last time we talked about Louisville and spent some time on the show, we talked about Brother Grandmaster Jay, right? Brother Tariq Nasheed and others are now putting a video out of what appears to be Grandmaster Jay doing security at a Trump rally. What? Yeah, I said it. This Grandmaster Jay was doing security at a Trump rally? What the fuck is going on? Like I said, family, we got a lot to talk about this morning, so please like and share this. Let me go straight to the phones and say good morning. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Nathan, it's Tracy. How are you this morning?
Hey, Tracy, what's going on?
So, Nathan, you're coming off as depression is equated to being weak when it comes to a man. The depression that Russ spoke of today is what's going on in this country. You have 40 million people out of work. You have people that are dying from COVID. You have people who can't go to work because they don't have daycare. You have people who are being forced to go to schools, and then the schools reporting that children in the school have COVID. You have a kid being suspended from school because she's trying to do the right thing and reporting what she sees. There's a lot going on in America just besides protesters. And if you haven't had a friend on a ventilator, or if you haven't had a family member die of COVID, or if you don't have a neighbor that's depressed because they're hungry and they can't feed their family because they can't work, because they lost their job, then maybe you're not depressed because that's not the circle that you live in. But it's real and it's everywhere. And this is what we see every day. And it's not even you having to turn on the news. It's you living it in your communities. And that's why people are depressed.
Is that what happened to Russ? He had a family member that had COVID-19?
He didn't specifically say. It's just a whole gamut of things that's going on in America that's taking a toll on not just him, it's everybody. And it's not weak and it's not, less than, because you sort of sympathize and empathize with what's going on in America. And I want to say something else too. And you were probably joking, but this whole hair on the face thing, you're not a man if you don't have hair on your face. What if you have a job that requires you not to? My husband doesn't have facial hair other than a mustache.
Does his job require him to do that?
UPS man, you will not see a UPS man walking around with a full beard.
Well, then that's different. That's professional. That's different.
Him less than a man because he doesn't have, he might not even have hair on his face on his vacation. It just is what it is. So
I mean, there's always,
that's why
I definitely carve out some professional
we're not looking at
exceptions. I carve out professional exceptions. But let's go back to Russ. I think it's weak, quite honestly. I stand by that. I mean, when I look at I see challenges. I see things that might make me angry. I might feel empathy for people who are victimized, but to say I'm depressed, nah, that's weak.
I don't think it's weak. I think it's compassionate. And I think if you just are on a level where you can empathize with people, there's no weakness in that.
I empathize with a lot of people, but I'm not depressed about it.
Well, maybe you haven't seen enough. If your mom,
I've seen the same thing everybody else has seen,
and her life was in jeopardy, it might make you a little depressed. If you couldn't get up and go to work because your child didn't have daycare, it might make you a little depressed. It's just maybe it's just a matter of people, but I don't think it's weak. I don't think it's something that is hard to understand if you really truly have compassion for your fellow man.
I got compassion. No. I got a big heart. I'm a Virgo.
So
Virgo's got nothing but big heart, but I'm not. There's nothing to be depressed about. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Just because you don't understand it doesn't make it weak, though. How is that weak that somebody has
how is it strong?
Feeling about something?
How is it strong then? Let me flip it. How is it strong?
I called it depressed.
Okay, so how is being depressed strong? Depressed about what? You're Russ Parr. You on the radio every day. You're doing your thing. What's it to be depressed about?
You think because he's Russ Parr, it could be LeBron James. People get depressed. That you can't put them in a box because they live a certain life. They still have feelings. They still live in America. We're all the same. It just makes you different because you have a little bit more money, but that doesn't mean you don't see what's going on in America and you don't feel a certain way about it.
What is there to be depressed about what's going on in America?
Okay, so if I ran down a list of like 10 or 15 things and you don't feel depressed about that, that's how it affects you, but it affects people other ways. I can't make you see something that doesn't have an effect on you.
I'm not depressed about Breonna Taylor. I'm angry about Breonna
share.
Taylor. I'm not depressed about George
Okay.
Floyd. I'm enraged about it. It's two different emotions. I'm not depressed. I'm not depressed about the Karen-demic.
We have been isolated pretty much. If you've chosen to stay in the house, it does have an effect on your
Isolated.
mental health. And there's if you've chosen to isolate yourself and stay in the house, you've seen it. All the people around the city are having these Zoom things, and the first thing they want to check on is your mental health. It's real. Depression is real, and you can not see my younger son might be depressed. He hasn't seen his friends since last spring break before they got out and went into this COVID thing. You know, it affects people different ways, and I think
but your youngest son is what, 16? I'm talking about grown men. There is nothing I can't do now that I was doing before. Isolated, I'm at home. This is all my stuff. I got all my creature comforts, all my hobbies, all the things I like to do. What's to be depressed about?
Socialization. There's still a level of socialization and interaction that people have with each other that makes them feel a little better. And if people aren't having that, then guess what? They do become depressed. And maybe Russ doesn't want to be out because he's 60 years old and he's in that age bracket where he has some things that he has to worry about health-wise and doesn't want to be sick. We don't know the backstory, but all I'm saying is depression is real.
It is.
In my opinion, humble opinion, it's not weak. It's a feeling.
If you're depressed because you isolated as a man, that's weakness.
Because people like you call it weak.
It's weakness.
That's why people, especially in our communities, hide it and they go somewhere and commit suicide because they're afraid that somebody's going to call them weak.
That's not why.
We have to deal with it. We have to deal with it on the forefront.
Okay.
You can't shame people.
I'm not shaming anybody.
Feelings.
I'm just giving my opinion.
You are when you call it weak.
It's weakness for a grown man to be running around here talking about he's depressed because he's isolated at home in his own house. You a king in your castle. Why would you be depressed because you in your castle? I don't get it.
That's shaming. And because you don't get it, you call it weak, and that's shaming. But that's
okay. Well, we can agree to disagree. Thank you so much, Tracy. You know, Tracy she gonna speak her mind. I appreciate it. And grown men. Children is one thing. You a grown man. And you depressed because you gotta isolate. We are feather weak, just waiting to be taken over. That's what's wrong with our community. I can understand it from females, from women. From males, from a man, you depressed because you can't go get chicken wings and drink beer at the bar? What are you depressed about? Man, this is not depression time. This is hustle time. This is go out and create something time. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, yeah, depression is real for real reasons to be depressed about. But being shut in because of COVID-19 ain't no real reason for no man to be talking about he depressed. I don't got no time for it. Miss me with all of that. A real man is out here hustling, grinding, building, creating. That's what he's doing. He ain't out here shuddering, clutching his pillow. I just can't wait until they lift the state ban so I can be isolated. What the hell? Who is doing that? I don't see it. I'm not depressed about what happened to Breonna Taylor. I'm angry. I'm enraged. You know what I'm saying? I'm moved to action. I'm not depressed about what happened to George Floyd. I'm mad at him. Fucker. I want revenge. I want black comeuppance. That's what I want. But depressed? Miss me with all that. That's that weakness right there. 513. That's all that is. Hey, if I'm talking about men in particular, I let the women figure out for the women. But as a man, I don't see it. What do I have to be depressed about? Life is good. Now, of course, I've got to add this caveat. I had a near-death experience in February, so I'm looking at life differently, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't get it. Help me make this make sense. I don't get it. 513-873-7134. Now, I got a break coming up. Now, out of the break, I want to talk about Ice Cube and his agenda. We can get back to depression and men and COVID-19 if you're into that conversation a little bit later. But I want to talk about Ice Cube, and I want to talk about his contract with America. And I'll tell you straight up, man, off the top, I love it. This is what time it is. This is what time it is. I love this. Ice Cube has always been on point. He remains on point. This is what you should be doing right now. Sitting around talking about I'm depressed. The hell? the fuck are you depressed about? I don't get it. And you a man with some connections and means, go out here and start something. Build something. That's what time it is. We do not need black men with resources running around talking about they depressed. That has no usefulness for us right now whatsoever. I have no tolerance for it whatsoever. I don't understand it. Meanwhile, Ice Cube's out here making a contract with Black America. He ain't depressed. He's moved toward action. And I like that kind of action. Again, everybody's different. I'm not depression shaming you because men get depressed for real reasons. Better jump on Xbox, play you some Call of Duty, something like that. Write a book. Go do something. Go do something. You won't be depressed. I don't get it. I don't get it. It must be all that soy in the food, or I don't know what the hell it is. I don't get it. I really don't understand it. 513-873-7134. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, I would love to hear it. I can hear Tracy's voice in my head. I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't get it. All right. But maybe you do. Maybe I'm wrong, which I severely doubt. Maybe there's something there, but I don't know. But when we come back out of the break, I want to talk about Ice Cube's contract with Black America. I've got a couple of clips I want to play for you. Also, I want to give you a little bit of a history on Black agendas in this country, which you may or may not be aware of. All right. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, where nothing is funnier than the truth. Men are expected to be men. Don't call in here talking about, I'm depressed, Nathan. I can't go to my favorite bar. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Save it. All right, save that nonsense. And lames get their plane shot down like John McCain. We'll be right back. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. Don't go anywhere.
Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
With Bloomberg Black Business Report, I'm Doug Krisner. The Minneapolis ad strategist who worked to spark industry-wide progress on diversity and inclusion is resigning from the advocacy group he co-founded. Nathan Young was president of 600 and Rising, founded after the police killing of George Floyd. The group's mission is to dismantle systemic racism in the advertising industry. HBO Max has greenlighted a project to be narrated by filmmaker Ava DuVernay. She's also executive producer. One Perfect Shot is a docuseries celebrating some of the most iconic moments in filmmaking. The show was inspired by the popular Twitter account of the same name. Meantime, the series Lovecraft Country will premiere Sunday, August 16th on HBO. The 10-episode drama tells the stories of two black families as they travel through the Jim Crow North, confronting the horrors of racism and monsters. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Doug Krisner.
This is Zoe Wesson. What side of history do you want to be on? The right side, or one where black people continue to be underrepresented in Hamilton County? Now's your chance to end 230 years of exclusion. In Charlie Winburn, we have a man that's received the Cincinnati NAACP President's Award, who fought on the Ohio Civil Rights Commission for 6 years, who received the Baptist Ministers Conference Community Service Award. Charlie Winburn has received the Southern Christian Leadership Conference Award and was honored by WDBZ The Buzz as Pastor of the Month. We know Charlie Winburn, and he knows us. He's the right man to put us on the right side of history. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote for Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, November the 3rd, paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
This is Zoe Wesson. There are a few times in life to make history. Hamilton County was founded 230 years ago, but has never elected a black county treasurer. It's time for change. Elect a proven, trusted, experienced candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, Charlie Winburn. We know Charlie, and he knows us. Charlie Winburn was the former chairman of the Jobs and Growth Committee on Cincinnati City Council under the Honorable Democrat Mayor Mark Mallory. Winburn led the fight to keep 2,000 U.S. postal jobs in Cincinnati. He also fought for wage increases for thousands of city employees, especially our sanitation workers. Charlie Winburn will safeguard more than $1.4 billion in real estate taxes and will increase new home ownership and new jobs. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. Let's make history together.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living then has mama. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
Hey, good morning, family. Now, you got to go way back to 1829, something called David Walker's Appeal. That's been described as the first black agenda in this country. You heard about that? David Walker's Appeal, 1829. That's over 100 years ago. Over 100 years ago, black Americans or foundational black Americans, or however you look at our ancestors in this country, found the need to organize politically and use the system to create policies, to create equity, policies, and tangibles for our people. I want to talk about Ice Cube's contract with America because from 1829, and again, there's several agendas and political movements, even in the city of Cincinnati, which I want to talk about as well this morning, where smart black people have understood you got to play the game. You got to understand the system and understand that policy plays a role in it as well. Hey, good morning. Welcome back. 513-873-7134. Are you aware of this? Have you heard this? So Ice Cube now has a black agenda. You can find a link in the description of today's show. So wherever you are, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube, you can just scroll down in the description and check out the link for yourself. It'll take you straight to the contract with Black America addressing racial inequality. And he's also collecting your information as well. So I guess he's doing like a mailer or something like that. And I read through it several times over the weekend, at least 2 times over the weekend. And I thought it was very interesting, very comprehensive. It's a case for neo-reconstruction. And it includes black and brown people as well. Native Americans and their plight is a fixture of this. And I think it's quite interesting. Now, let me tell you off the top, I love it. I love the idea. Before we get into the details of it, and again, there's no way I can possibly go through all of it. Again, you have to look at it for yourself. Contract with blackamerica.us. Okay, if you can't go to this description box this morning, contract with blackamerica.us. I like it because it sets the tone for what I think that's what time it is right now, equity, policy, and tangibles. And this covers all those bases. there are some things that, and again, it's the first draft of the plan, I'm sure, so it's probably open for amendments or additions. There are some things that I think are very notably, at least one thing I think should be a part of it is not, that it concerns all Black people and Black creatives in particular. But I think it's very, very interesting. This is what Ice Cube is doing with his time. He ain't sitting around talking about how he depressed. He ain't sitting around talking about how he depressed because of what happened to Breonna Taylor. He's moved to action. He's enraged. That's what Black men should be doing. I got no tolerance for any Black men running around in their feelings talking about you depressed. I ain't got no time for it. You know what I'm saying? Where are the strong Black men at? I ain't depressed about a damn thing. I'm mad as hell. I want to challenge the system on all levels, but depressed? Nah. That's not what time it is, homie. Any Black man talking about you depressed, you off code. Any Black man in the media talking about you depressed, I'm depressed, is off code, family. Off the top. You are a part of the problem. Period. PD, period. Ain't no exceptions to it. Ain't no equivocations. I'm mad. That's what time it is. And I think we should all be moved to action. But let me play some clips for you. And I want to start out with a clip from the Roland Martin show. Shout out to Roland Martin, does great work. I'll say it again. People talk about Roland Martin. I've said it from day one. Roland Martin is a pioneer. He is a Black digital pioneer. He's paving the way for other people like myself to look at his example and do something very, very similar. Okay. But I want to play this clip for you. Or not all of it, but just check it out. This is just the opening question because he allows Ice Cube, and shout out to Ice Cube, brother stays on code. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just think about Ice Cube for a second. This brother was a part of NWA. And he went from that to where he is now, a serial entrepreneur, and never lost his Blackness, never lost that posture of challenging the status quo, disrupting the NBA by creating the big three. You know what I'm saying? That brother is a great example to all of us, in my opinion. I ain't saying he's always right or I agree with every single thing. I'm just saying, I mean, in general, I like the example that he set. And he stays on code. And it don't matter who he's dealing with. And again, think about this. See, it's in vogue now for people to understand that the police are Conan barbaric when it comes to Black people in particular. Okay. But back when they was trying to tell you, when NWA was trying to tell you what was going on, right? People didn't want to hear them. They wanted to brand NWA as some kind of hate group or you anti-cop. You know what I'm saying? The same mishearing that people had today when it came to Colin Kaepernick, we saw it when it came to NWA. I love NWA. Still do. Them brothers knew what time it was. They was on code. They was unapologetic. So as a member of that group, Ice Cube was willing to challenge the system, the status quo. And then when he fell out with the music industry that tries to use these artists, these Black artists, right now, the Migos, one of the biggest groups, hip hop groups in the world, got a bad contract. What did Ice Cube do? He left, did his own thing, challenged what was happening with, the music industry in terms of owning your artistry. Like I said, I mean, from my eye, Ice Cube has always been on point. And I'll say it again. How in the hell did he go from that to where he is now? Because he's a very smart Black man. That's why. With backbone. Ice Cube ain't running around here talking about, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, Lordy, Lord. If you don't sit your ass the fuck down somewhere with that depression ish, I don't got no tolerance for it. I don't care who it is. I'm talking about Black men in particular. What you other folks do, I mean, that's up to you. What women do, I mean, that's different. I let the women decide all of that. You know what I'm saying? You better do some push-ups and some squats. You better start eating avocados and put the soy down. The hell you talking about? But let me play this for you. You'll hear the audio clip of this morning in just a second. 513-873-7134. Check this out.
When it hit you where you said, you know what? I've got to do something. I've got to help put something together to help our people.
I had thought of a piece of what's now called the Contract with Black America. I had thought of a piece of it called the American Jobs Pact, where it was just a great, program where industry could work with the community and government. And so, I was working on that idea for a while, and then I ended up getting into the big three. And, to start a league, a pro league from scratch, it kind of, monopolized my time. So it really took me away from it. And we're 4 years into that, and that's rolling. We didn't get a chance to play this year. So I had a lot of time on my hands. So with this situation with George Floyd and where the country is now understanding how much we need reform everywhere, overhaul, reconstruction of everything. I started thinking, with, a bunch of smart people. And we said, let's think of something broad. Let's look at all the areas where systematic racism or systematic exclusion is keeping us from having generational wealth. And so in digging, you see where all the pitfalls are, where all the obstacles, all the systematic stuff that keep us back that's happening in this country. And so that's what really started, us thinking that we need something broad that we can ask government and the private sector to be a part of.
How do you respond when people say, man, look, I'm not trying to listen to some entertainer talking about these policy issues. You shouldn't be addressing this stuff.
I shouldn't have to. Really, I shouldn't. But
great response.
Somebody's got to, set something in motion that's more than just, reforming one thing like the police. You reform the police, and if you leave the prison system in place and the justice system in place, it's not going to matter. We're getting it from all ends, so everything has to be reformed at the same time. Of course, we welcome smarter people to come look at what we got and build off of it. This isn't Ice Cube's contract with Black America. This is a contract with Black America. So anybody can help us make it better. We're not legislators, so we don't have to take it the whole way. We just got to present what we believe we collectively need and the change that we collectively need to get a foothold in this country. Because the whole thing about, it's all about education. You pull yourself up by your bootstraps. If you don't have no boots, you ain't got no bootstraps. And we ain't got no boots. We need some boots.
Well, folks,
pull ourselves up.
Well, folks always.
That's one good thing that happened with COVID. COVID-19 shut down the big three. And when the big three shut down, that gave Ice Cube more time to work on some ideas that he had been thinking about. Now that's what time it is. I'm not going to keep going back with this depression thing, but this ain't time to be depressed. That's what time it is. That's what time it is. Get out of your feelings, black men, and do whatever what's in your heart. You know what I'm saying? So let me, shout to COVID-19. This is one good thing that came from it. I'm just trying to find a silver lining in it. It gave this brother a little bit more time to work on something he had been thinking about for a while. Let's get back into it.
The bootstrap, but the reality is white folks didn't pull themselves up by the bootstraps. They received significant governmental assistance. Dr. King talked about that when it came to the land that was distributed all across this country, and when you talk about the resources as well. But again, that's just one of those phrases that is always used to make black folks believe that we have to do everything ourselves, as opposed to, even now, you look, we're sitting here having a conversation, over this digital platform. The internet wasn't created by the private sector. Government created the internet. That's how Mark Zuckerberg is rich, and the guys who own Google and the rest of all these tech CEOs.
Let me just jump in here
This
because
was a-
Roland makes a very interesting point. You got these two black men talking on a digital platform that didn't exist. How long Roland been doing this? Like 4 or 5 years ago? It didn't exist 6 years ago. Think about that. That's black owned. Roland owns that, as I understand. I don't know all the details of his business background and hierarchy, but as I understand, he owns the Roland Martin Unfiltered Show. That's a brand new digital platform that didn't exist before, that's created by a brother, right? And now he can promote what other brothers are doing. That's powerful.
Government creation.
Without a doubt, the government just pulled $3 trillion out of a hat, and they bailed out a lot of big major companies.
Let me jump in again. We forget about that. We gloss over it. And of course, we talked about it. But for years and years and years, when black folks, black and brown folks, Native Americans, non-white folks who were abused, misused, and set aside, swindled, conned, killed, whatever you want to call it, bombed, you know what I'm saying, buried in shallow mass graves. I mean, all of it. When they asked for reparations, the number one question we got back was, how are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it? But as soon as COVID-19 was a threat to their families, they coughed up trillions. Just like that. Just like that. They came up with trillions of dollars, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. Just like that. So miss me with all that. We ain't got no money. I don't want to hear that.
How many black companies did they bail out? We're 13.5% of the country, give or take. So we deserve 13.5% of that money to go into our communities to help us get a foothold. The wealth gap is 10 to 1. Every dollar that a white family has, a black family has 10 cents. And it's not getting closer, it's just getting bigger. So that has to stop, change, and reverse. We have to catch up. And we will never catch up at this pace. It's designed for us not to catch up. And we got to break that design. How many government contracts go to black contractors?
Yep.
We should be getting 13% of that.
Well, this week on the show, I've been calling out Young and Rubicam because they control the contract when it comes to getting the word out about the census. That's a more than $300 million contract. $100 million that was supposed to go to black media and has gotten pennies. Now, they finally are responding to us, but the fact is, I had to call them out, put them on blast on social media. That's the kind of stuff that should not happen. And the reality is, we see this all across the board.
That's why I say Roland's a pioneer. That's why, I respect what Roland Martin is doing, because the brother is having serious conversations about what really matters. He's right about that. If you haven't followed that story. And when it goes to black media, it all can't go to your Radio Ones. It all can't go to them. It's got to go to new black media, to digital platforms like his, like ours, right? Because this is the future. I might circle back around and talk more about what he just said right there. I'm aware of it. You may not be aware of it, but he's absolutely right. The same people keep getting rich, right? Whenever there's an opportunity. Same things happen in Cincinnati over and over again. It's a part of the reason why why the racial wealth gap persists in the city of Cincinnati. Because the way the game is set up is the same old folks keep getting rich. The same old millionaires get more millions. Over and over again.
Not only that, when we do get a contract, they devalue the black business or the black consumer. And so they'll give us even less when it comes to that contract than somebody else who is appealing to a white audience. So even when we do get a contract, it's still less.
They got 1,000 games, and we sick of the games. It's time for them to give us our just due. This is something we're owed. This isn't something we're asking for or begging for. We give all that tax money to the government, and all they do is give it to their friends. Money don't trickle down. it always trickles up. It always trickles up. So you have to pump in cash to the bottom so it can pump up, because it will. Because everybody gonna go buy something they need from somebody rich, probably.
So let me jump in here real quick, because we got a call on the line. I want to make sure I get your calls in this morning. I want to know what you think about the contract with America. Ice Cube's presented a black agenda. I think here's what people should do, no matter where you're listening in the country. You should look at what Ice Cube is saying and what he's offered and ask yourself, does it fit where I live? If there is black agendas, is it integrated into your local black agenda, wherever you may be, whether you're in Cincinnati or you're in Dayton or you're in Columbus, whether you're in Louisville, whether you're in Virginia, Atlanta, whether you're in DC, okay? Now, this is, I've read through it a couple times now, and it's very general. But what you can do is you can look at it as a template and localize it. Just look at what he's offered and then localize it to wherever you live. It might be something that is easy to integrate. It might be something where you need more specifics to, your locale. You know what I'm saying? But essentially what he is saying is it describes what's happening in black communities in every state in this country. In every state in this country, it's a similar game that's been run down on our neighborhoods, on black entrepreneurs, on black wealth building, the attempts to build wealth. But again, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? 513-873-7134. I got Nate on the line. Hey, good morning, Nate. Welcome. Hold on. Matter of fact, I got him muted. Let me take him off. Hey, Nate. Hey, good morning to the show, brother. You're live on the air. What's on your mind?
What's up, Nathan?
I'm doing great, man.
Okay, first, just real quick, man. When you talk about depression, I agree with you 100%. It's more of to me, it is more of a female teacher almost. As far as a man saying, it's a place you can go, but it's a place you can't stay. You know what I'm saying? If you go down that road, you're going to be there for a long time, man. It's going to eat you up. Because I think a lot of our young men, they suffering from it, but they covering up with the alcohol and the drugs, man. I think that's what that's a sign of, you know what I'm saying?
I think you're right about that. Now, listen, I want to make sure people understand. I'm not saying that I don't think a man should ever be depressed. I'm not saying that. I'm talking specifically about being isolated, COVID-19, things like that. But you're right, though. I mean, a lot of brothers, sisters in the hood, man, they've been doing this for a long time. They've been self-medicating as a means of coping. So you're right about that, for sure.
And with I can't really rock with an entertainer, man, like that. I think we don't really know his connection as far as the big three. He got a lot of Arab money. And when you go to the hood, man, they don't exchange, you know what I'm saying? You got to start in your own neighborhood. You can't not own the stuff in your neighborhood and then think you're going to branch out and start running stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying
you got to start. And I just ain't seeing it. The investment ain't there. Why they ain't investing in the hood and owning stores and all that? You got to start small.
Well, I mean, so let me make sure I understand where you're coming from. So you're saying you're not really feeling Ice Cube because he's an entertainer?
Some of that, and he's a multi-millionaire, and I'm saying, I feel like economically we've been shut off, man, period, as far as entrepreneurship, unless the government aid is coming. And it ain't coming. It don't seem like it's coming. So, what I was saying about the big three is he got a lot of Arab money. And when you go to the community, stores are there because they supposed to get back to the community. And they taking that money and they taking it and spending it in their own country. That's what they doing. So I just feel like you got to build from within and then branch out.
Well, I mean,
so we can't start there. How we going to? Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off, Nate. Go right ahead, man. Finish up.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. And then as far as, I don't know, man. I can't rock with Roland Martin, man. I feel like feminism is killing our community, bro. It's taking the men down to a level where they got to bow down to women every time they say something that they don't like. You know what I'm saying? Just like you got into that argument back and forth with the lady, the first caller. She was trying to pull you down to her level. You ain't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like our men are just becoming weakened. And the Democratic Party is, they listen our women up, but they leaving us looking like we ain't about nothing though. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like as men, we're gonna have to get on the same page, bro. At the end of the day.
Well, Nate, I mean,
So within, as a community, I'm talking about at the bottom, not necessarily as far as entertainers and stuff like that. But we seem to be gravitating to them. Like when they speak and listen, we shouldn't be listening to them. They already took their money from wherever they took it from. So that's who they owe. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I mean, I do have some pushback though. I mean, let's start with Ice Cube and his agenda. My first question is the most obvious question. Like, have you got a chance to read it first? Nate, have you got a chance to go to his website, contractwithblackAmerica.us, and read what he's proposing?
No, I didn't. To be honest with you, but I heard a little bit of the interview, that sound bite.
Right.
To be honest with you, but
see, we got to start there though, brother. The first thing we got to do is at least be educated about what's being offered.
But he involving government and outside people. When outside people come, they start to dictate. And we start to fall into that trap where they get to dictate who we giving the money to or how we, make deals with each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we can't give deals to each other, but we got to take whatever they give us and work with that. And they only going to give you so much.
I hear you, but you know what?
What's Section 8 do for us?
I grew up on Section 8, man. I was able to. Section 8 was good for my family. It's all about what you do with the opportunities or the hand that's dealt with you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
A lot of that's on the individual. So let's talk back to what you said about black men. It's not about what they or the Democrat Party going to do for us. It's about us posseing up and what we going to build for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? That's what time it is. If we keep looking for other people to acknowledge us and empower us, then we're going to die waiting for us. It's never going to happen. It's time for black men or black people in general to posse up, to link up, right? And make it happen. And force it to happen. You know, if the Democrat Party is not representing us, then what we going to do? Keep complaining about it? Or are we going to posse up, start organizing politically? Because as an individual, you don't really have a whole lot. But when you start to organize a whole bunch of individuals, that can be powerful. That's what time it is.
I mean, we see examples of it. It ain't like the examples ain't out there of how things start. You know what I'm saying? How you run your neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? You can't just let anybody just come into your neighborhood and post up like that.
We ain't really running our neighborhoods. I mean, there's some people out there doing good work, but in general, we're not really running our neighborhoods. Our neighborhoods have been running us. We're not really out there across the board buying back the block. We haven't in particular cities.
Exactly. Yeah.
We ain't been out there really politically organizing and demanding agendas and contracts. We ain't really been doing that. Not with any sustained effort. Not with any sustained effort that's got some real punch into it. There's been some folks here or there I don't want to overlook, but in terms of an enduring movement, that ain't really been happening.
Because we get distracted by politics, man. We got to start somewhere. Politics is just a distraction to me. I don't feel like it really do anything for us.
Well, I mean,
it ain't working for us. Well,
the challenge, Nate, is what have you done to make politics work for you? That's what the challenge is.
I start with my family. That's where it starts.
You start with your family.
There's too many of these young kids out here with no structure, no nothing, Nathan. I had a cousin. One of my cousins, he put the strap out on his own uncles, bro. Like, that's where we at right now.
Lane, let me ask you a question, man, because I'm picking up on something. Are you a voter? Are you voting in these elections, man? Keep it real.
I haven't been voting. No, I voted for Obama once, and that was it for me. That was it.
See, that's not a real sustained effort, man. That's not a sustained effort. That's voting once.
It's not going to come with politics, bro. That's what I'm saying. I just don't believe in it. And as far as white wealth compared to black wealth, I feel like it's top heavy. It's 10% of 10% of men in general is over $100,000. The average man is making about $50,000-$60,000 a year, regardless of his race. So when you talk about wealth in the white community, yeah, it's there, but it's at the top. If you ain't an executive or something like that, you working just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but life is about choices, Nate. If you're a man making 50, depending on how the choices you made, the burdens that you have in terms of your financial responsibilities, depending on what your monthly expenditures are and how you set up your life, you should be able to do something with that. You should be able to build something with that, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you compare white wealth to black wealth, like we didn't make any advancements, I'm saying that the wealth is at the top. And they keep getting richer. But the average white person, they struggling just like anybody else. They in debt. I mean, I'm trying to figure out why we keep comparing ourselves to white people. Like, it don't make sense to me.
Hey, Nate, appreciate the call, man. I got to make a move, brother.
All right, bro.
Yep, take it easy. That's Nate calling in. Said he ain't feeling it. I know there's a lot of folks that don't like rolling. I mean, that's your opinion. But I'll say it again. I mean, in terms of building digital platforms, Roland Martin is a pioneer. You ain't got to agree with him. You ain't got to disagree with him. I'm just saying, from a media standpoint, and take it from somebody who's worked and been successful on all levels, public, corporate, digital, media, the man's a pioneer. He's doing his thing. I give him props for that. Most definitely. But again, in terms of the show, the flow, I know it's a lot of folks that look at him like the boule and things like that. Cool. That's your opinion. I ain't here to challenge you on that. 513-873-7134. If you're not in the politics, you got to be in the money. If you're not in the politics, then go build a black business and elevate your community that way. Because money's political too. I mean, it all comes down to politics eventually. That's just the system that we live in. You know, it's a lot of folks out there like, I don't do the politics thing. Well, look, when you're playing chess, you don't bring the rules of Uno to it. You're playing chess. It's what it is. This is where we are. You know, this is the game. So you can either play the game or the game can play you. And for too long, I think black people have been sitting back hoping that political parties or maybe Jesus is going to show up and save you. It ain't never happening. We got to save us. And I think that the political element of life in America is extremely important. And again, I read through this contract. Like, again, the other thing is you can't criticize the contract if you ain't read it. I think just to be an intelligent black man, you must at least read it to have an understanding from what he's coming through. And I think that about any agenda. At least read it, at least get an understanding of it before you criticize. That's just smart. You know what I'm saying? That's just smart. And again, when I look at this, I mean, some of these things I feel like are kind of in place and people have been talking about it. So for instance, I'm talking about Ice Cube's. Ice Cube's got an agenda here. Let me see if I can put it up on the screen for you and hopefully not lose the audio. But Ice Cube has an agenda that he wants to share with Black America. And I think we should listen to it. And if we don't listen, I think at the very least, we should try to ask ourselves, like, you know, is this something that can be incorporated wherever you live? You know, at the very least here. Let me see. Where do I start? Let me start with the preamble here. Let me start right there. I'll start with that. It reads, if you haven't read it, after 400, a contract with Black America addressing racial inequality. Very carefully worded, a contract, meaning that it's not it's not the only one. This is just an option. After 400 years, and again, if you want to read along for yourself or read later, it's in the description of today's show on YouTube and also on Facebook. You can check it out and easily link straight to it. After 400 years of unequal treatment, Black Americans have had enough with gradual reform in a nation that prides itself as the world's greatest democracy, calling this country out once again. While well-intentioned solutions may have been tried, it is simply too much to ask an oppressed people to stay patient. To finally create the more perfect union all Americans deserve, it is time for a complete paradigm shift. in how we run our institutions and operate our country. Now, that last sentence, I agree with. We should be challenging every institution. Challenge everything. Everything should be challenged. Everything should be challenged. Challenge every institution in your particular locale. Now, I'm in Cincinnati, so I'm talking about Cincinnati, and I'm talking about Ohio. You might be in Atlanta, so you're talking about Atlanta and in Georgia. Okay? It may be some similarities in terms of what black folks are looking for. It might be some differences, and I think the differences matter. I think I acknowledge there's a uniqueness to every different situation. There may be some parts of the country in which they feel as if they're further along in their agenda, or black folks are doing better than in other parts. But across the country, I think is unanimous that the divides are real and change is needed. 100%. Let me see. I'm not gonna read all of that. Let me just read through some of the there's some things I want to center on, and there's some things I just want to read the bullet points. So he talks about bank lending and finance reform, which is key. We focus a lot on judicial, law enforcement, things like that. He also talks about judicial and public policy reform. Ban all privately run prisoners. At the very least, these particular cities and states should not be invested in private prisons. Declare the Ku Klux Klan a terrorist organization. Again, some of this stuff is on the national level. Lynching to become a federal health crime. I mean, are people working on these kind of things? Yes, we hear about it all the time. EPA to inspect water supplies in all communities nationwide for lead and other forms of contaminants. Constitutional amendment codifying expansion of the 13th Amendment by the courts. Police reform. At the top of the list, qualified immunity will be eliminated. So even Ice Cube is talking about qualified immunity. A lot of very smart people have centered in on qualified immunity, which, as I understand it, and if any lawyers are in the house, any legal minds, you can disabuse me of my folly. But as I understand it, a qualified immunity is court precedents, Supreme Court precedents, which people have centered in on, and I think correctly, to say, oh, this got to end. That's part of the problem right there. Mandatory malpractice insurance to be carried by police officers and paid by police departments like lawyers and doctors do. Yeah, when you start hitting people in the pocket, they start paying attention. Some of these reckless ass police officers would be less reckless if they knew that if found guilty, they would have to pay out of their own pocket. They would stop this nonsense. And they know it. Elimination of no-knock warrants because of what happened with the sister over in Louisville. A lot of people are talking about that right now. And let me talk about Louisville. Did you hear about what Oprah's doing? Oprah has commissioned 28 billboards demanding the arrest of the police officers in Breonna Taylor's killing. This is Oprah Winfrey. Have you seen this? She got a website up called untilfreedom.com. Now, these must be amazing times if Oprah is doing something so bold like that. Because you know Oprah she don't like to get bold like that. Got the website up and they saying the cops need to be charged and arrested. So now you got the entertainers who are getting involved with this. I love it. I love it because too often we just forget about it. And we go back to sleep and we start watching the NBA and we start watching the NFL and we forget about what time it is. Let me put it on the screen for you right here. Look at this. This is what Oprah is doing right now in Louisville. I love it. Finally. I'm loving this. Untilfreedom.com. Let me go to their website right now and see what's going on. I mean, that case was just so egregious. Our fight for Breonna Taylor. That case was just so egregious that people just can't let it go. And it's featured by, and I love this, New York Times, Oprah Winfrey Magazine, USA Today, Red Table Talk, Roland Martin Unfiltered, Vogue, The Breakfast Club, Washington Post. So 3 of those are, well, at least 2 of those seem to be black-owned media companies. The Breakfast Club is not owned by the Breakfast Club. I don't even know the corporate radio entity that owns them. I can't recall on the top of the head, but that's what's happening in Louisville. She's commissioned 28 billboards to force people to remember what happened to Breonna Taylor. Because we're going to forget. You got an upcoming potential NFL season. Oh, man, the NFL starts. Everybody's going to go back to sleep. They're going to forget. Good morning to you. Akeem's in the house. He writes, gotta thank Rick Ross for that pin to the cross, though. Good morning. Charles writes, Grand Risings, Nate and Choppers. He's on Facebook. Woody writes, Groundhog Day again. Don the Con is still in the people's house, is he? He must like it there. Carmelita writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you, Carmelita. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Crystal writes, good morning. Hey, good morning to you, Crystal, as well. It's always great to see you. Casey's in the house. She writes, good morning. Brenda writes, good morning. Good to see you, Brenda. Steve writes, good morning, all my good people. Good morning to you. Leslie writes, good morning, beautiful people. Good morning to you, Leslie. Good to see you. Brother Forte's in the house. He writes, good morning, Nate and the Chopper. Stay safe, stay woke. Absolutely. Again, we got an opportunity coming up, family, that I would love for you to be a part of. September the 5th is a date that we have with the good folks from Ride or Die LLC for a tactical training course. These are people, we're looking for folks that already have their CCW. The cost is $100. There's a link on my Facebook page right now that'll give you all the details. It's a Saturday. It's the first Saturday in September. And we're looking for folks to get out and become more proficient. We're going to go to an outdoor range. The cost is $100, which is a reduced price from what they normally charge for that type of course. But we're also asking you as much as possible to try to bring your own ammunition. As I understand it, ammunition is at a premium right now because of COVID-19 and the racial strife. A lot of people are trying to store up their ammunition, and it's caused a real premium in that market. So I know I'll connect with Forte this week to see if he's been able to procure any that we can purchase from him. And they're asking folks to try to bring at least 200 rounds. Okay. And that way we can come out and fully do all the exercises and all of the training that we're looking forward to. That's September the 5th. If you're interested, when you see the post, just leave a post and I'll directly contact you. We're asking for a $20 deposit to hold your place. And again, all of that goes directly to Ride or Die LLC, and that'll hold your spot. Okay. And you can do that on PayPal or also the Cash App. I'm looking forward to that. September the 5th. If you're interested, not only are bullets at a premium, spots are at a premium as well. So let me know very, very quickly. Let me know this week. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate. She is on YouTube. I appreciate it, family. Just another caveat. I am not moving, but I'm trying to expand the show by going to YouTube. Okay. YouTube is a wonderful platform. It's the second largest platform in social media behind Facebook. And the Nathan Ivey Show is there. And they have some milestones. And one milestone that they have in order for you to monetize, and that is, let's say I want to put up some Nate Tire or to merchandise, some merch or whatever like that. If you want to monetize your YouTube channel, you have to get at least 1,000 subscribers. And I believe it's 4,000 watch hours. So to me, that's a very easy milestone for this audience. So if you can take some time today, please subscribe to the show on YouTube. Okay. Even if you're not on YouTube all the time, you're just there some of the time. Cool. So am I. Every show is being put up there. And also some of the various shows that I'm producing via Sin Digital Media as well. So please subscribe, hit the bell notification so you get notified anytime there's a live stream or I upload a video. I got some really interesting plans for that channel and also working on some other channels as well. But I want to hit that milestone. I think it's very doable. So please, if you can watch on YouTube as well, because there's two milestones. One is subscribers, which is 1,000 subscribers. And the other is watch time, which I believe is 4,000 hours. Speaking of milestones, I think the Nathan Ivey Show is over 1 million plays. I haven't even celebrated it. Maybe I'll do something. This is just on the Spreaker network and the audio, not even talking about what we've been doing on Facebook. But 1 million plays and downloads is huge. There's a lot of podcasts that never get to that milestone. I might do something later this week or next week about that. But thank you so much. So if we can do that just in terms of audio and Spreaker, right, and tune in, man, the sky's the limit with YouTube. So please subscribe to me on YouTube, Nathan Ivey. I'm there. Rachel writes, good morning, family. Happy morning to you all. Happy morning to you all, I think is what she means. Good morning, Tanika. Good to see you. Anthony's in the house. He writes morning chop shop. Good to see you. Casey's on YouTube as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, watching the show on YouTube just allows me to reach that milestone so I can monetize my channel, which is a milestone that all YouTubers want to hit. Thank you so much. She writes, good morning, Nathan in the chopper, sending positive, powerful vibrations to you all. I'm here to receive it. Dare writes, good morning, Nate. Stay strong. Kelly writes, good morning. Jason's on YouTube. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, all my new YouTubers, I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate everybody, but in specific, I'd like to hit that milestone this month. I think it's completely doable. I really do. Rachel writes, depression is not based on the same thing for everybody. That's why you can't understand those men who go through it. Mental health issues are real. Listen, I'm here to tell you, I can testify mental health issues are real. Depression is real. Okay, I want to make sure people understand where I'm coming from. I don't understand grown black men running around talking about they're depressed because of COVID-19, because you can't go to your favorite place to pick up chicken wings, because you can't go to the movies. I don't get it. I think it's weakness. Shake it off, homie. Shake it off, man. Rub some dirt on the kid. Get back out there in the game. I don't understand it. Now, do I believe that there are valid reasons? And I'm going to go ahead and make a value choice, a value observation on it. Are there valid reasons that men get depression? Oh, for sure. 100%. But COVID-19 ain't one of them. You know, looking at the racial strife, these Karens, these Darrens, looking what happened, that ain't depression. You should be angry. Depression is one of those emotions that black men are allowed to feel, but we ain't allowed to be angry. I'm mad as hell and don't give a damn who don't like it. I'm enraged about what I see. I ain't depressed. I'm also very encouraged by what I see. When I see people in the city of Cincinnati giving the business to city council, going down to the council meetings, stirring the pot, raising hell for a good reason, I love it. Makes my day better. The air just smells so much better when we got rebels in the house. I love it. I ain't discouraged about a damn thing. When they had the protests, I loved every day of it. I loved every minute of it. We need more of it. Bring it back. What happened at that budget and finance meeting when weak ass David Mann walked out showing us what he was really made of? Nothing. Peanut butter brittle, soft ass, no spine, white males. I'm sick of you. Take DeWine and John Cranley with you, David Mann, when you leave council. Okay? I'm sick of it. I don't have no tolerance for it whatsoever. But in terms of what I saw, it was the best TV I've seen in a long time. That's great TV. That is great TV. Please don't stop. Please keep it up, brothers and sisters and young rebels. I think Sister Iris calls them, what is it? The future leaders of the world. I love it. Please don't stop. It's the best television I've seen in a long time. We need more. You know, when you see these people out there occupying these public spaces, raising their voices, demanding for equity policy intangibles, what's to be depressed about? I don't get it. Am I sympathetic about people that are succumbing to COVID-19? Yeah, the ones that's taking it seriously. If you like Herman Cain, if he dies, he dies. I mean, what you want me to do about it? I don't have no sympathy for you. You know what I'm saying? But this is not depression time. This is build something beautiful time. That's what time this is. I mean, I'm just telling you. That's what time this is. Run around my feelings, but I just can't go to my favorite bar. I love the wings down there. They put coconut flakes in them and everything. Dale writes, I was saying exactly to Rachel, depression is not about intestinal fortitude. There are many functional depressive people. Yeah, most definitely. I agree with you on that one. Vernon writes, grown-ass men don't get depressed. I think grown-ass men do get depressed about reasons that they should be depressed about. But as I said again, grown-ass black men should not be running around getting depressed because of COVID-19 because you can't go to the movies, because you can't pick up your favorite pizza. What is it you can't do now that you was doing before? I'll wait. What is it that you, as a grown black man who might be in your feelings and you depressed about, what is it you can't do now that you was doing before? I'm not limited at all. There's nothing I can't do. There's some things that I choose not to do because I don't want to get COVID and give it to my children. But what's to be depressed about that scenario? Pick up some books, man. Go find you a show on Netflix, yo. Meditate. Go back and listen to NWA. You won't be depressed no more. You'll be enraged again. Start working to lose some of that belly fat. You know what I'm saying? Re-examine what's in your wallet. Re-examine what's in your refrigerator. Get on Xbox. Paint. You know what I'm saying? Stretch out your hamstrings so you can actually touch your toes. Do something. But miss me with the depressed as a black man. Grown ass man, I'm depressed because you can't go to the movies. Again, there's nothing I can do that I was doing before COVID-19. Matter of fact, I just love the way that we see the expansion of the digital world now. I don't get it. Brian writes, depression is not necessarily an emotion. It can be a medical, psychological condition. I gotta agree with Tracy. He writes, I gotta agree with Tracy on this one. Okay, we can always agree to disagree, Brian. No problem with that. Daryl writes, Nate, we diverge on the topic of strength versus weakness in the context of depression. Okay. All right. I want to make sure people understand where I'm coming from. But there's no problem with that. That's what makes a fan. Listen, I grew up in a household. My grandfather, my uncle, my grandmother used to debate everything. They used to go at it. I was just thinking about this morning. They used to go hard at it. They used to go hard at each other. And then they go to bed and wake up and we'd all have breakfast together. And we can always have to agree to disagree. We can always disagree without being disagreeable. Hopefully I came across that way with Tracy. But I stand by what I said. And I'm very specific about it. So make sure you understand where I'm coming from. Do I believe that men get depressed for valid reasons? Yes, I do. But COVID-19 ain't one of them. I'm just telling you. You missed me with all of that. Dilly writes, sounds kind of closed-minded. Only the closed-minded people. Only the closed-minded people. No, I'm very open-minded, actually. I can't win for losing. I'm so open-minded that way before it was fashionable to say that, hey, being gay is something that you're born with, and that gay people should be able to get married, and that gay people shouldn't be ostracized even by the black community. I took heat for that. And now, because I say that black men running around talking about they depressed for COVID is weakness, I'm taking heat for that. So that's why I just do me. It is what it is. I don't experience depression personally, but I understand the medical side of it. All out chemicals aren't the same, though. I think he means all our chemicals. Right. So I want to make sure people understand that. People understand where I'm coming from. It sounds like there's some misinterpretation here, so I'll take a minute just to make sure I clarify. And I'm talking about in specific what Tracy was talking about, like black men talking about COVID-19 and you isolated. I don't get it. But I don't really understand it in women either. I don't understand it across the board. Like when people say, oh, I can't go anywhere, I'm isolated. I don't get that. I don't understand it. You're at your own home. It sounds like you need to redecorate. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like you need to change the wallpaper or something. Change the feng shui. You know what I'm saying? Get you a little lamp or something with some running water and put some mirrors up opposite of the TV or something. Change the feng shui or something. Like get a new carpet. I don't understand it. It's just life is too beautiful. And it just underscores just how weak we are as Americans. I mean, just think about this, how weak we are as Americans. Stay-at-home protection orders has us going each other's throats. People get into fights over masks. People getting upset because they can't go to the movie theater. They can't go to their favorite restaurant. That's weak as hell. Period. No equivocation. That is weakness. I mean, that's what you're living for, to go to the movies? Is that man, I work out every day. Some days, depending on where I'm going, I wear a mask. It ain't that hard. It's not going to suffocate you. It depends on what kind of mask you have. Get a better mask. Oh, I can't walk with a mask on. We weak as hell in this country, black, white, and across the board. You can't walk with a mask on? Somebody asked you to sit in your house. Your house, by the way, you still got the internet. You still got everything that you had before. We ain't taking your TVs. And people going crazy because you sit in your house. You need to change your house, homie. Something's wrong at your house. So no, I don't have any tolerance, especially for grown black men who are running around here talking about they're depressed because they're shut in with COVID-19. I'm being very specific about that. It's weakness. You know what I'm saying? You better muscle up. Go do some pull-ups. You focusing on the wrong things, which a lot of Americans do, a lot of humans do, focusing on the wrong things. So no, I'm not saying that I don't believe that depression is well, because that would be ridiculous. And I'm not a ridiculous man at all. That would be ridiculous. So no, I'm not saying that. Toy writes, depression is a mood disorder. Several types of depression, from psychotic, postpartum, seasonal, and several others. My question is, before folks decide who is or who isn't depressed, are we all operating from the same and accurate knowledge based on the order and symptoms? Most of us have been misinformed about mental health issues for years. It's over and underdiagnosed. I've seen it in my clients far too many times. I agree with what she's saying. I agree. Dale writes, I think Nate has a misconception of depression. You're right, I must. But I also think that people misuse that word. You know what I'm saying? You might be a little down. You might be melancholy. That ain't depressed. It's the two different things. Donnie B is cracking up. Hey, what's up, Donnie? She writes, who said they depressed? What did I miss? Tracy started that when she was talking about Russ Parr. I'm like, wait a minute. Nate writes, glass half full. You right, Nate. Dale writes, not that simple, Nate. It is that simple. And again, I'm specifying this. I want to make sure people understand me, because I'm not saying that I don't believe depression is real. I'm just saying black men being depressed because of COVID-19, or talking about they depressed because they looking at what they seen in the world. I ain't depressed about nothing of that. I love what we seen with this radical movement in the country. That's what we need. That's encouraging. And I would choose to be black 1,000,000 times. If I could live 1,000,000 lifetimes and be born into the same circumstances in this country, I'm going to choose to be black every single time. Every single time. Hold on, I'm looking at something beautiful. Yes. What, I'm looking at something like that. What is it to be depressed about? Man, y'all in y'all feelings, man. So are there is depression and mental illness real in our community? Of course it is. Don't try to twist what I'm saying. I ain't saying that. I'm talking about specifically black men running around here talking about, I'm shut in. Do some sit-ups, man. Get your body together. Start you a new business, a new revenue stream. That's what smart black people are doing right now. They're not running around talking about, I can't go to the movies. I know I keep saying that. I'm just trying to figure out, what is it there out there that people want to do that is causing this from a male standpoint, not a female standpoint, because I'll let the ladies figure that out for themselves. But from a male standpoint, I just can't think of anything that I can't do that my family's good, my children are good, my mama's good, my brothers and sisters are good. The people I rock with professionally are good. I don't get it. But again, everybody's different. Vernon writes, real men just want to be left the hell alone. Bills paid, kids straight, food, etc. All we need. Thank you, Vernon. Appreciate you, brother. 100%. Got a call coming in. Let's take it. Oh, man. My good friend from the West Coast is calling in. Everybody's favorite phone call. Everybody's favorite caller to the Nathan Ivey Show. Let's go straight to him and see what's going on. Hey, good morning, brother. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. And in case you don't know, this is your West Side Connection, Drop Squad 52. How are you, sir?
I'm doing excellent. I'm not depressed.
Mr. Ivey, I'm not even commenting on that because
don't do it.
That is not why I called.
Okay,
sir.
I figured that.
I called because of the main topic of your show, and the only topic that you list on Spreaker, which is Ice Cube's contract with Black America.
Yeah.
And again, Mr. Ivey, this is exactly what I've been saying ever since this election started almost 2 years ago when the Democrat Party knew that they had a problem with the black vote. And now we have Ice Cube, not to mention Kanye West, not to mention Sean P. Diddy Combs, not to mention Roland Martin, not to mention the black female coalition that got Joe Biden elected. Mr. Ivey, Black Voices for Trump. Mr. Ivey, Blexit. Mr. Ivey, Black Not Democrat. Mr. Ivey, the black divide is in full effect in 2020. It is starting to expose the desperate Democrats and their stronghold that they've had on their monolith voting bloc, which is Black America. And Ice Cube said it. Ice Cube said, this agenda, it don't matter which party gives it up, but it's time we start using our vote as a weapon. Mr. Ivey, 2020 is a turning point for Black America. And it's because of people like Ice Cube. Ice Cube has been consistent about individual responsibility and individual accountability, which has not been projected in the Democrat Party since the 1960s. And for some reason, the economic decline or the economic shortcomings of the black community began back in the 60s when the 1964 Civil Rights Act was passed and that money started flowing from Washington directly to the inner cities that needed the funds. But Mr. Ivey, I'm not asking you to agree with me because you don't have to, because it's clear in your rhetoric that you are on the same page as I am. And again, I'm not calling you a Republican. I'm not saying Ice Cube is a Republican. All I'm saying, Mr. Ivey, the stronghold that the Democrat Party has had on the black community for the past 60 years is starting to weaken even more than when it really started weakening prior to Barack Obama being elected. Barack Obama, the irony of the first black president, is what's causing what's going on right now, Mr. Ivey. It is because of Barack Obama being elected that a lot of these young people are starting to say, we don't need a political party to advance. Because it's obvious that the first black president had 8 freaking years to address just a few of the items on Ice Cube's agenda for Black America or contract with Black America. And a lot of young black people saw that even with a black man in the White House at the head of the Democrat Party, they still got a bunch of rhetoric, got a bunch of garbage. Talking about, just hold on. Just hold on. It's going to take some time. We got to keep on.
Is that right?
Stop
That's
complaining.
funny.
Yes, that's what he said at the Congressional Black Caucus Convention in 2013 out of the mouth of Barack Obama. Stop complaining. Stop grumbling. Put on your marching shoes. We got work to do. So, again, Mr. Ivey, and I'm not even
You're
going
glossing
to
over
mention,
a little bit, but okay.
But I'm not even going to mention what happened on the Sunday shows yesterday.
What do we miss?
And I'm not talking about Mr. Ivey. The whole Mr. Ivey, it's looking like it's going to be either Elizabeth Warren or the governor from Michigan. It's not going to be Kamala.
Governor
from
from
Michigan.
Michigan.
Susan Rice. It's not going to be Karen Bass, Mr. Ivey. I'm telling you, that's why he postponed his pick. He's got to pick a white woman.
Why?
And because Mr. Ivey, when he made the comment comparing the diversity of the Latino community with the lack of diversity in a few cases, as he put it, in the black community, it's the truth. They know it, and they've known it even in 2016 when Hillary said, "Oh, my blue wall is safe in Michigan. I ain't got to go there. I don't need to go to those black. Man, I'm good. The black wall is safe, and they've known that, and Joe Biden has exposed it in 2020. So now, black people are starting to say, "Nah, I'm sorry, I just can't do it." And then all this so-called depression, it could be because maybe they think that they're starting to lose their chances of beating Trump in November, because his polling on Real Clear Politics, Mr. Ivey, he's up over 43%. He's closing in on 44%. He's going up, and Joe Biden's mythical double-digit lead is disappearing. So I'm just saying, Mr. Ivey, it doesn't matter who Joe Biden picks for vice president, because he knows his monolith voting bloc, they're going to just shut up and vote like they always do. But guess what? It's too many young black voices speaking out, Mr. Ivey. And then Mason Marler had the audacity in the chop shop talking about corporate welfare. Black people are tired of hearing about welfare of any kind. Ice Cube said, we need economic freedom. We need economic independence. That's all I got, Mr. Ivey. Don't get me started. But again, I'm not predicting that Donald Trump is going to win. But all I'm saying and have been saying is the desperate Democrats just keep making it easier and easier, because they have a huge problem in the black community. Drop Squad 52, dropping science on this beautiful Monday. Depression-free and COVID-free. Walking while retired. Peace. Oh, Mr. Ivey, I just subscribed to your YouTube channel. I had to come in under another name because Drop Squad 52 has been blocked.
Really?
Indefinitely on YouTube.
How the hell did you do that?
Mr. Ivey, I just got off suspension on Twitter, and everything's changing. I'm flagged. My algorithms are being tracked. I was losing because I think I had about 430 something followers. After I got suspended, every couple of days, it kept dropping and dropping. I think the last I checked, it was at 426. So I just got to move a little bit different.
Yeah, within the rules.
I mean, because Mr. Ivey, everything is being flagged, and you know it.
Yeah, I got flagged.
There is a strong movement to get rid of Donald Trump, and Facebook is on board, Twitter is on board, Google is on board. They're all on board to shut down these opposing voices. But guess what?
I got flagged.
Yeah, that's right. You sure did on Facebook.
Yeah. So somebody reported me as either, and again, it's either one or two. It was either like, Bruce Hoffbauer and some of his friends, some of these Republicans that don't like what I have to say, or it was a self-loathing black person. And what's sad to say, it's equally likely. There's either or. That's what's sad to say.
But Mr. Ivey, it's different now because they're flagging just based on your algorithm. It doesn't necessarily have to be anyone from. No, Mr. Ivey.
You got flagged on Twitter because you broke the rules, man. Remember, you explained it to us.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said that you were using a bunch of hashtags in an attempt to try to get attention, which that's against the rules.
Traffic. But Mr. Ivey, they promote that Twitter. They charge people for that. You know it.
What do you mean charge people?
You see it on your timeline.
Well, that's why it's against the rules. Rather than just putting a bunch of hashtags to everything you tweet in an attempt to try to cover all bases, they want you to pay for it, and you didn't do that.
Exactly. But that ain't my.
You should have read the rules before you got started.
Well, that's true. That's true. Individual responsibility.
Exactly.
And I accept that. But I'm learning. And I really honestly think the reason I got kicked off last time because I kept retweeting hydroxychloroquine. And there are people that are getting their sites taken down just by having that hashtag in it.
Really?
Or if you yes, Mr. Ivey.
Is this a real thing or just some BS?
No, Mr. Ivey, this is a real thing because it was in the congressional hearings a couple of weeks ago when all the tech companies were in front of Congress. And they asked Zuckerberg point blank, are you and Facebook the arbiters of truth? And he said, well, we don't want to do that but we want to flag misinformation and remove it based on what's coming from the CDC. So that's their justification. They're not saying that, oh, you're lying. No, they're going by the CDC says hydroxychloroquine does not work. You retweeted those doctors who says it does. Your shit is taken down for putting out false, misleading information. They could have did that to you with Hoffbauer. They saying that information you put out is false and misleading. And because you are flagged as a member of the media, you are considered a member of the media. I would assume on Facebook.
Yeah.
But But anyway, Mr. Ivey, they're coming hard because everything is at stake. Like Barack Obama said, everything the Democrat Party stands for is at stake in this election.
Is it?
In November. Everything, Mr. Ivey, because they're starting to see the fracture in their black base, which began in 2012. No, not in 2012. In 2004, after George Bush lost in the Hanging Chad case that went all the way to the Supreme Court, it was because in certain precincts in the black community, they were losing votes because of Al Gore and Bill Clinton and what they did in the 90s with the Civil Rights Act. With the crime bill and what they did with welfare reform, which again, the irony was part of Newt Gingrich in 1992, Newt Gingrich contract with America. The irony, Ice Cube has a black contract for America. But anyway, I don't want to take up any more of your time, Mr. Ivey, because I'm sure somebody got triggered from this call. Peace out, sir.
Thanks for the call. He loves to trigger people. Listen, I got to take a break and I want to come back. But before we take a break, I want to talk about, we were talking about Ice Cube's contract with America. He's right about that. That was the name of the Republican plan back when Newt Gingrich was running things as Speaker, right? But we got to go back to David Walker's appeal way back in 1892. And that's been signaled out by some historians as the first black agenda, followed by the Nation Afro-American League 6-point plan in 1890, Adam Clayton Powell's Black Position Paper in 1965, the Black Panthers 10-point plan in 1966, and the Gary Convention of 1972. And that was the National Black Convention. What's interesting, if you go back to some of those plans, there's similarities going way back to 1892 to what Ice Cube is proposing and what black people are proposing here in 2020. I want to give you some of the details when we come back. Plus, I'll take your phone calls and your text messages. This is the last honest place in America, the Nathan Ivey Show. I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. And we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. And family, before we go too far in the show, I want to remind you that I need your help. This is a call to action. I am building out my YouTube channel, Nathan Ivey on YouTube, and I need to hit a milestone of at least 1,000 subscribers in order to monetize my channel. Anyone who does YouTube, that's the very first milestone they want to hit. And considering our subscribers and the people listening to this show, I think that's completely doable within the month of August. Completely doable. So please take a minute, go over to YouTube and subscribe to the Nathan Ivey Show challenge or the Nathan Ivey Show channel at Nathan Ivey and hit the notification bell. And I appreciate you in advance. We'll be right back.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
With Bloomberg Black Business Report, I'm Doug Krisner. The Minneapolis ad strategist who worked to spark industry-wide progress on diversity and inclusion is resigning from the advocacy group he co-founded. Nathan Young was president of 600 and Rising, founded after the police killing of George Floyd. The group's mission is to dismantle systemic racism in the advertising industry. HBO Max has greenlighted a project to be narrated by filmmaker Ava DuVernay. She's also executive producer. One Perfect Shot is a docuseries celebrating some of the most iconic moments in filmmaking. The show was inspired by the popular Twitter account of the same name. Meantime, the series Lovecraft Country will premiere Sunday, August 16th on HBO. The 10-episode drama tells the stories of two black families as they travel through the Jim Crow North, confronting the horrors of racism and monsters. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Doug Krisner.
This is Zoe Wesson. There are a few times in life to make history. Hamilton County was founded 230 years ago, but has never elected a black county treasurer. It's time for change. Elect a proven, trusted, experienced candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, Charlie Winburn. We know Charlie, and he knows us. Charlie Winburn was the former chairman of the Jobs and Growth Committee on Cincinnati City Council under the Honorable Democrat Mayor Mark Mallory. Winburn led the fight to keep 2,000 U.S. postal jobs in Cincinnati. He also fought for wage increases for thousands of city employees, especially our sanitation workers. Charlie Winburn will safeguard more than $1.4 billion in real estate taxes and will increase new home ownership and new jobs. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. Let's make history together.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote, paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
Over 92. 180 over 111. I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest and then a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. She wasn't even really sure where she was at.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
We've been talking about and breaking down a bit Ice Cube's contract with America. I might do another video where I break this down and compare it even more. Just looking at the history of so-called black agendas, from David Walker's appeal going back over 100 years to the National Afro-American League 6-point plan in 1890. What's real interesting about that Afro-American League 6-point plan, let me read through it real quick, is that there's similarities in that plan into what I'm hearing from people talking about black agendas and even Ice Cube's black agenda today. Here was the 6-point plan. Of course, this happened way back in 1890. Of course, that was the aftermath of Reconstruction, and the country was experiencing drastic changes. In 1883, the Supreme Court ruled the Civil Rights Act of 1875 was unconstitutional, among other things. But here was a 6-point plan that was proposed by the National Afro-American League. 1, securing of voting rights. 2, the combating of lynch law. 3, the abolition of inequalities in state funding of public school education for blacks and whites. 4, reforming the Southern penitentiary system, its chain gang and convict release practices. And 6, combating discrimination in railroad and public travel conveyances and discrimination in public places like hotels and theaters. Now, some of that, maybe we've moved past it, although the challenge has changed, but we're still talking about federal lynching laws. We're still talking about inequalities in state funding as it relates to education. Over 100 years later, family, welcome back. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, live, local, and vocal. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, you can do so pretty easily at 513-873-7134. So David Walker's appeal in 1892, the first Black agenda, National Afro-American League 6-point plan in 1890, Adam Clayton Powell's Black Position Papers in 1965. That takes it up to the Black Panthers 10-point plan back in 1966, which I've got in front of me right here. If you read through the 6-point plan that the Black Panthers were proposing as an agenda, many of these things we still fighting for today. Number 1, we want the freedom, we want power to determine the destiny of our Black and oppressed communities. I'm reading from the Black Panthers 10-point plan back in 1966. We want full employment for our people. We want an end to the robbery by the capitalists of our Black and oppressed communities. We want decent housing fit for the shelter of human beings. We're still fighting for, number 1, for the economic vultures to stop picking the bones of our community. The game has changed. It costs you more to be poor. There are companies, industries that prey upon Black poor people. We want decent housing. Just think about the city of Cincinnati. I'm reading from an agenda that was over 60 years ago, nearly 60 years ago. In the city of Cincinnati, we understand that we are 40,000, not 4, not 400, not 40, not 4,000, 40,000 affordable housing units on the negative. But we love Black people in Cincinnati, right? We want decent education for our people that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. To this day, people are still talking about how public schools are funded and the curriculum that generally miseducates Black and white children, but specifically curriculums. To this day, I just was on the line with Donnie B. We was talking with the superintendent, talking about curriculum, right? And they want to address this with their anti-racism policy. It's 2020. It's 2020. We still talking about this. Hey, caller. No, Glenn, we got another caller. Please hold on the line. I want to finish this flow and I'll come straight to you, brothers. Most deaf. I just want to make this comparison here that there have been previous Black agendas on a national level, and that going back over 100 years, we still talking about the same stuff. Still fighting for the same, and the game has changed a little bit. The game has changed a little bit, but still fighting for the same equity, policy, and tangible. Like to this day. So the Black Panthers saw what time it was, and they were trying to raise awareness about the miseducation in terms of the curricula and curriculums, right, in our public schools. And we're still talking about that to this day. To this day, people in Cincinnati, Black parents, are openly advocating for curriculum that reflects, right, the children, that reflects the students, even though in 2020 at CPS, 3/4 of the students are Black. We want completely free health care for all Black and oppressed people. You know, Obama picked that up. And then the merchants of health insurance came in along with their Republican acolytes and surrogates, and they took us into a completely different issue. You got the politicians and the party still arguing about the necessity and the need for comprehensive health care in this country. We're still talking about the same things. We want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of Black people, other people of color, all oppressed people inside the United States. If you're just joining me, family, I'm talking about the history of Black agendas. This conversation was sparked by Ice Cube's agenda. And I just made me go back and look, like, what were people 40 years ago, 100 years ago, What were they, smart, intelligent black people, what were they advocating for in terms of policy? A lot of it is very similar. This was back in the mid-'60s, the Black Panthers 10-point plan. Flash forward nearly 60 years. It took George Floyd for it to come back around and now realize that, yeah, police are brutal to black people. We want an immediate end to all words of aggression. See, the Black Panthers, man, them brothers were so smart. They were so forward thinking that they understood that there was a connection between the U.S. foreign policy and the U.S. domestic policy. That's one thing that I didn't pick up in, and I'm not criticizing Ice Cube at all. I'm just having a conversation with you, family. That was one thing I didn't really see in Ice Cube's plan. If I missed it, please disabuse me of my folly. I don't want to be wrong. But there is a connection in terms of the way that this country projects its power internationally, and that the way that this country uses its power nationally. There is a connection. I think we've sort of lost touch with that with some of the more modern day versions of policies and things. Maybe it's safer that way. After what happened with Eartha Kitt, these black entertainers they want to stay out the war business, and Muhammad Ali. Let me see here. Well, that was the Black Panthers. I mean, I could get deeper with it. I think I'll do our own separate video just on this. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. 513-873-7134. Good morning to you, family. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. All right, let me go back to your chat this morning. Let me jump inside the Chop Shop on Spreaker and say what's up. Pat writes, I'm another year older, 66 and holding, thanking God for grace and mercy. Well, happy birthday, Pat. Happy birthday. And glad you're here. Absolutely. Thank you for the support. Man, I hope to be 66. I want to be like 96. You know what I'm saying? With an Instagram page. You know what I'm saying? Still doing pull-ups, doing my thing. That's beautiful. I hope to be there. That's a blessing. Life is a blessing. Tony, a lot of well wishers inside the Chop Shop. Oh, that's great. Miss Tiffany's in the house. She writes, good morning. Good morning to you. Mason Marler just called back. Hey, Mason Marler, I'm put you straight on, brother. Give me 1 second. I'm inside the Chop Shop. What do you think of season 5 download for COD? That's Call of Duty, Nate. It's cool. Yeah, I got some dudes I rock with. My little sister is big in gaming. She's like starting a gaming channel. I may work with her on Sin Digital, Black Girls Game. And it's cool. What do I think about it? I wish they would have done, let me give you some intelligent gamer thoughts on it. I wish they would have done more changes to the map. But I like it. It's cool. It's cool. Y'all don't deserve me writes, hashtag live around no blacks, hashtag stay ashy B, hashtag I'm consumed with male genitalia, hashtag it's been documented, hashtag nobody respects me, hashtag they just know who I am. Okay. Angela's in the house. She writes salutations. Same to you, Angela. CG Duck writes, Nate, my daughter attended the Ride and Die CCW class yesterday, says she really enjoyed it and found it very informative. Thank you, Forte and Joe. I'm forward to going to the range, weather, and letting off shots. Hashtag mommy and daughter time. That's beautiful. Like I told you, if I didn't believe that, I wouldn't have said it. I have turned down money in terms of promotions, no endorsements on this show because it didn't jive or I had heard something. If I felt differently about it, I'm never going to recommend something that I don't believe in. You know, now when you hear like politicians and stuff like that on the platform, that's just a promotion. That's not a personal endorsement whatsoever. But if I felt differently about Ride or Die, I would have told you, period. You know, I still remember everything I said. They made it fun. It was serious. I like both the brothers. They told some great stories. It just accentuated the whole experience. And I felt like I learned something. Like I can honestly and truly tell you, I feel like I learned something. I'm not saying anything about anybody else because I haven't experienced it. But my experience with Ride or Die was A1. Smart brothers. And again, you know, Forte's experience as a black member of law enforcement, I think is invaluable for me personally. It's a lot of good people doing work in that space. I support them all. But all I'm telling you is that when I went to Ride or Die, I left with knowledge. I didn't just have a piece of paper, but I felt like, okay, I got a better understanding of how a weapon works and what to look for, what to do, how to deal with it, and a better understanding of being a black person with a CCW and what that means. That's why I rock with him. You know what I'm saying? If I felt otherwise, I wouldn't be rocking with him. You can take that to the bank. So hopefully Forte is he's one of the choppers. Maybe, hopefully he's listening and, you know, he can take that to heart. Kudos for them. What is your definition of depression, Nate? Oh boy, here we go. My definition of depression is not a grown black man depressed because, you know, you got a curfew, you got to be isolated because of COVID-19. That's not my definition of depression. Okay, I want to make sure where I'm coming from and people understand me, because I can see that people are kind of like, oh, they don't believe in depression. I'm not saying that. I understand it. It's real. Mental health among black men is real. But you show me a black man running around here talking about they depressed because they can't go to the movies and you can't go to wherever you pick up your favorite chicken wings. And I just don't understand it. But again, generally speaking, the whole COVID-19 thing I'm not depressed at all about these days and times we live in, Brian. I'll say it again. I'll say it again. I'll say it again. There's nothing to be depressed about. You're living. You know, don't be like me. Don't be laid up in a hospital, you know what I'm saying, dealing with some serious complications before you understand that life is precious. And every single second you spend here is a blessing. I don't have to wake up tomorrow. So when you look at it that way, I'm a bit unforgiving. You got to understand where I'm coming from. I have a unique scenario this year. My 2020 has been different. I almost wasn't here. So I don't have a lot of tolerance for the whole, you know, you don't want to be alive thing. And man, you better smell the roses. Be better than me. Don't end up like me. You better smell the roses and kiss them babies and enjoy the relationships you have to the fullest, because you don't have to be here, homie. Just like that, you can be gone. I went from celebrating, not really celebrating, but I went from watching the Super Bowl to being in the hospital for a week. All that. So when you have that kind of experience, Brian, and anybody else, it changes the way you look at things. So you're not looking at the usual black man with the usual experiences. You're listening to somebody who almost wasn't here. So maybe, you know, just sprinkle that into, you know, your assessments of what I'm saying about what I'm talking about this morning. I'm coming from an unusual standpoint. But again, be better than me. Be better than me. Don't go out the way I did. Don't nearly go out the way I did. You know what I'm saying? Don't come up with a brush against the end of your life before it makes you realize, like, oh, this is precious. Just being able to smell the air, being able to see my babies, kiss the wifey, being able to rock with you is a blessing. Be able to touch the keys, touch the microphone is a blessing. So I ain't got no time for depression for trivial reasons. You know, you're depressed because you couldn't go to the Cincinnati Music Festival and all this other nonsense. I mean, that's trivial. That's trivial. And I'll say it again. I'm not depressed by what happened to Breonna Taylor. I'm enraged. I'm mad as hell about it. Okay. I'm moved toward action about it. But depressed? No. I'm not depressed about what's happening with COVID-19. I'm sympathetic. I'm empathetic. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody I know. I don't want anybody to get it, especially the people I know and rock with. And if it did, I'd be sympathetic. I'd be empathetic. But I'm not going to be depressed. Nah. Mm-mm. Tracy writes, there is more going on in the world than protests. I really can't believe you can't see what's going on in America. It's a lot going on, but they present challenges and calls to action. There's a whole lot going on. You're right. But these are challenges and calls to actions. It's not time for grown black men with resources and intelligent black men to be huddling under a Linus blanket. That's a character from Charlie Brown, Linus, to deal with the security blanket. It's not time for that. It's not time for that. I'm sorry. I don't have no tolerance for it whatsoever. Ray writes, I'm not saying depression isn't a valid diagnosis, but I'm not saying it's not valid either. I'm just saying in the circumstance in which it was presented earlier, I think I'm going on over about trying to explain myself. I think I explained myself enough on that. Angela writes, can't bust an effective push-up with a beer gut, right? You take care of that beer gut, you'll feel better. You feel a lot better. Brian writes, you can still be functional and still have some acute signs of depression. Absolutely. Me and Lenny ain't even got real beef. We just having fun, but trying to participate in me and Glenn's fun by jocking either of us is less than manly. Okay, we got you. I thought you support mental health, Nate. That's what Brian writes. Of course I do. You know I do. Well, if you don't know, of course I do. Put it that way. Especially with African Americans. I do. But I don't have any tolerance for grown black men, I'll say it again, running around here in their feelings because of COVID-19. I don't have no feelings about that. Zero. No, I'm not going down that path. Jane writes, good morning. Pam writes, I think some people are empaths. Everything weighs heavily on people like us. I think, men and women are different. Men and women are different, Pam. And there are some things that are similar. Like men get depressed, and depression is a real thing in men. It certainly is. Life as a black person is depressing. Add in the extra and it's overwhelming. But see, I disagree with that. I'm not depressed about being black. Man, I ain't depressed at all. I would choose it 1,000,000 times over 1,000,000 times. Even with everything going on and being black and the redlining, man, that ain't stopping nothing. That ain't stopping me from having a good life. I shut the door. We forget all that nonsense. We don't bring that in here. It's a challenge and an opportunity and a call to action. Nothing more. I ain't depressed about a damn thing that Karen is doing and Darren is doing. I might get pissed. I've talked about some of the issues and frustrations I've had in my daughter's school. It ain't stopping nothing. That's letting them win. It represents a challenge, an opportunity, a call to action, but depressed? No, not at all. It's too much. It's too many possibilities out here. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Pam writes, a good read is Dr. Joy DeGruy, post-traumatic slave syndrome. I think that's real. Let me see. Mason Mahler writes, clean-shaven faces matter. Man, you better get you some hair on your face, man. Period. You're a man, you're supposed to have hair on your face. Now, if you got a professional position, like you used to work with the Reds and Marge Schott was the owner and she prevented them from having goatees, that's a little different. If you work at the post office and for professional reasons, you got to have a clean shaven face, all baby smooth and like that. Okay, great. But generally speaking, you in a damn Midwest. Get yourself a beard, man. Let it grow out. Stop being afraid. Brian writes, it's not a matter of being weak or strong. Okay, B. Shanghai writes, are we conditioning ourselves to embrace depression? I don't know. Good morning, Shanghai. We've been sucking ish up since slavery. No wonder it becomes ingrained in some. True that. Brian writes, it's not about embracing it. It's a part of being human, LOL. Okay. Absolutely. You say, Pam writes, studies have shown that people are unknowingly depressed. Okay. I think I agree with all of that, Pam. Ray writes, Louisville just took $700,000 from the libraries to give to the police, also buying rubber bullets and other rioting tools. Well, that represents a call to action for the brothers and sisters, the progressive-minded people down in Louisville. They got work to do. In Louisville. Roll your sleeves up, organize, posse up, create your agenda and your plans, and go to work. And don't expect for it to be an overnight thing. It has to be an enduring plan. But depressed about it? That's what they want. They want us to be depressed. They want strong black men to get all the call in their feelings and do nothing. I'm glad Ice Cube ain't depressed. There's some brothers and sisters ain't depressed out here making it happen. Thank God for them. Later for that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? You know, I heard Sister Iris say something like, you know, if you ain't on the front lines, then maybe you can just make the chicken and, you know, cook the plates for everybody. Then get in where you fit in. Every role is equally important. But I'm not depressed at all about Breonna Taylor. I'm mad. I'm angry. I want to do something. I want to make sure it doesn't happen here in Cincinnati. I'm not depressed by these Karens. I'm angry about it. I want to work with the policymakers to make sure that we've got some protections for black families. But I ain't going to cry. I'm supposed to cry about it. I'll shed some tears for my brothers and sisters that left too soon. You know me, I ain't got no problem with shedding a tear when it's necessary, but this ain't time for depression. This ain't time for that. I believe everyone have or will experience depression at some point in their lives. I'm just saying, I think you're right about that. And hopefully for valid reasons. Hopefully for valid reasons. Speaking of Louisville, Ray, did you see this, man? I first saw it on Tariq Nasheed's page. Let me see him bring this brother up, man, because I thought this was interesting. Well, I was on, everybody knows Tariq Nasheed. If not, he's a brother, again, another pioneer, in my opinion, in terms of the digital space. And he's also the founder, not the founder, but the creator. Well, he's the founder of the Foundation of Black Americans movement and the creator of, they should be, you talking about education. They need to be the hidden colors. Man, listen, they need to have that in every high school in America. The whole course on hidden colors. That'll change the game in terms of waking people up about what's really going on. But I first saw it on his page in which he had footage of what appears to be Grandmaster Flash. Hold on, let me see if I pull this up real quick. It appears to be the brother Grandmaster Flash, right? And that's the brother that's doing the NFAC, right? And apparently this brother was doing security for Trump. That's what it looked like. I don't know if it's true, and I'm just telling you that's what it looked like. And I'm like, what? Where they do that at? How you doing that? You do security for Trump, and you also the leader of the NFAC? The Not Effing Around Coalition, remember that? Let me see if I can pull this up for you real quick and put this on the screen. Look at that. Is that Grandmaster Jay? What in the hell? So somebody needs to ask the question, why is okay, is that a contradiction, number one? For let's say he works in the security industry. Is that a contradiction? Let me be fair. Is that a contradiction for Grandmaster Jay, right? The brother that we saw arming up for Breonna Taylor and they going hard at the white militias and all this other kind of stuff is a black power move. For him to be doing security for Trump, like, does that challenge his authenticity? Because that's clearly the brother, though. That's clearly him. I don't care what nobody say, that's him. Look at this, yo. Look at this. Oh, that's clearly Grandmaster Jay. No doubt about it. So do you think that that's a contradiction for him to be doing security for Trump and also the leader of this black militia group? That's my question for you. 513-873-7134. Let me go straight to the phones and say good morning. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Hello, Nathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Fame. How are you doing today?
I'm pleasant. Was your weekend pleasurable?
Yeah, it was. How about yourself? How was your weekend?
I'm here to talk to you, so apparently things are great.
That sounds good to me, man. What's on your mind, brother?
A couple things. First off, did you realize you were calling him Grandmaster Flash?
Was I?
First?
Was I? My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Well, as far as him, I mean, I told you that when you brought him up. Like, this dude's trouble. You can just tell. How the hell your first national appearance does somebody get accidentally shot by a member of your group? That was a harbinger. This dude is trouble. And now we see why. I don't care if he's getting all types of government contracts as a minority security guy. He might be, I don't know. But you can't want to arm yourself and march and then be down with dude. Do anything for him. I don't care if he's paying you. That's a conflict. That's a conflict of interest. And he represents that by doing that. Now I know it's an old photo, so he might have did a flip flop like, you know, Candace Owens or PG Sittenfield. But that's a contradiction. And if you needed more evidence to get rid of this scrub, quit dealing with him. What more do you need? The gunshot was enough for me, but now we got this and the gunshot. You understand? And also, as far as Ice Cube's contract with Black America,
yeah,
I maybe I missed it. Did you go over any specific tenets on it?
Not really. Not really. I just hit the bullet points, but I will before I roll out of here.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think what I'm going to do is do a whole nother video specifically just on that, because there's a lot to unpack.
Okay.
You know, that's a several days conversation if I'm going to give it its proper attention. So today won't be the last time we talk about it. We'll pick it up again tomorrow.
Several days. So that's several months. It would be a think tank. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, everybody locked themselves in a 3-4 star hotel and you know, get into breakout sessions and talk about it. You know, it's going to be deeper than anything of that. Now, as far as everybody giving you the business about your take on depression in men, first let me ask you, do you think your take is not toxic masculinity?
I mean, I don't really care if it is or not. I don't know.
Good. I'm glad you feel that way, because I agree with your take. It's just a hard pill. It's a bitter, hard pill to swallow. Ain't nobody on that new black stuff. You know, Glenn will like this, but if you're a black man having trouble, grab yourself by the balls and get up off the couch and quit feeling sorry for yourself, because nobody else does. Quit being a punk. Ain't nobody care that you, black man, are feeling sorry for yourself. Ain't nobody ever cared. Ain't nobody don't care. So you need to act like you got two of them and be a man and bring yourself to prominence. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Facts. Facts on facts on facts. I agree.
I mean, you know, I like I said, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but we as black men, we the last people to be going around feeling sorry for ourselves. We got black women saying, protect us. I'm depressed. I can't protect you, baby. You got to go fight that white man by yourself. What kind of crap is that? We the last people on this earth to be sitting around feeling sorry for ourselves. If I offend you, any choppers out there, great. Call me whatever name you feel. I don't particularly care on this one, because this ain't a conversation for everybody. Okay, this is about men and how we feel amongst ourselves. So that's all I got, B.
That's all I need.
I'll let you finish your show, and I will holler at you probably at the close of tomorrow's moon. Oh!
Agreed. You know, I don't particularly care if people think it's toxic masculinity. It is what it is. As he put it, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but it's true. This is not time for black men to be sitting around feeling sorry for yourself. Nah, you off cold, homie. Pull yourself together, B. Pull yourself together. You know, rebuild that spine somehow. Pull yourself out. I ain't depressed about a damn thing. You know, I feel a call to action on some things. I'm enraged and mad as hell. But depressed ain't nah. Mm-mm. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. Ron P's in the house. He writes Morning World. Good to see you, Ron P. Damn, time. I said I was going to finish up, but it's 10:30 already. Why didn't you tell me it was 10:30? Damn, I got to make a move. I got things going on today. Got a lot of stuff going on. Let me see here. You sound like a leader at Nate. If it is a death in the family, a health reason, or something else, we ain't got time for depression. Let's get ish done. Absolutely. It's no. Mm-mm. Oh, the COVID-19 and all the masks. I got to wear a mask everywhere I go. You're a black man in America. Suck it up and you'll be okay. But listen, I want to spend more time on the black agenda, and I'm going to talk about some things that are going on in Cincinnati. I just ran out of time. I'll pick this back up, I promise you, tomorrow. And I think I'm going to do a special YouTube video just on the history of the black agenda and like comparing it to Ice Cube's agenda and what's going on right now. I'm going to work on that. Been working on it, actually, but I'm going to put that out hopefully sometime this week. Hey, do me a favor, family. I am trying to hit a milestone on YouTube, and I cannot do it by myself. I need your help. I'm trying to get at least 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours watched on YouTube. And that will allow me to start to monetize my channel. That's the number one milestone that all YouTubers want to hit. I don't care who you are and what you're doing. That's the number one milestone. And as I've learned, the way YouTube works is you've got to have a certain amount of subscribers and time watch to unlock certain tools and capabilities that the YouTube platform will make available to you. So the very first one is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours watched. I'm not sure where I am in terms of hours watched. I believe that I am over that. I think I'm well over it, but I have not yet reached 1,000 subscribers. So please subscribe to me on YouTube. Watch the show on YouTube this week. I think it's something we can do together, and I appreciate you in advance. Viva La Chapas. Have an excellent rest of your day. Remember our motto: winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So stay winning and stay focused. And we'll talk real soon, family. I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.